Magic Lab on the SOC Radio Network, broadcasting live from our studios in New Zealand, Los Angeles, and New York City. I'm Marie Bargas, also known as the Hollywood Witch, the Pop Psychic, and the Magic Housewife. But tonight, I'm your naughty professor, a magical mad scientist of sorts, and with the help of my trusty lab assistant, pop culture skeptic and guru, Tony Sokol, we're going to be stirring up a nice, hot, boiling cauldron of magic, mystery, and mischief. So, let us show you how to take a whole new look at love, romance, showbiz, fashion, world news, and the secrets of the cosmos through the all-seeing third eye of the future. We're ready to lead you through magical and mystical experiments using ancient knowledge in a modern text. With guest mystics, healers, shamans, and all kinds of fabulous magical people. And you are going to get a chance to get your future read right here.
Good evening, and thank you for once again ignoring Mercury retrograde with us here on Magic Lab Academy, where we talk about magic like it's an everyday thing, which for the people we have on tonight, it is. We're here at SOC Radio, brought to you by the Spiritus Online Network, which brings online radio shows about all aspects of spirituality, development, knowledge, and education. Except me, I'm the infidel, Tony Sokol. My co-host is the Hollywood Witch, Marie Bargas, and tonight we will be hosting Horsefly Chronicles Haunted Housewife, Julia Siracusa, and Edge of the Rabbit Hole host Vanessa Hogle. They are both quite talented, and Marie knows much more about them than I do. Marie, what's up?
Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here with two of my best girlfriends. And we didn't know if Tony was going to be here tonight, so we were going to kind of make this a girls' night and just kind of give you a little bit of behind-the-scenes flavor of what it's like to be a professional ghost hunter like Julia, or a world-famous remote psychic like Vanessa, or me, the Hollywood Witch. Also, joining us this evening is our producer, Tracy Cooper, who is also a very talented media. So, we're ganging up on Tony 3-1, but I don't think he minds. Do you?
No. I could join in. I don't care. Me and the kids just watched Rocky Horror yesterday, and I used to be Frankenfurter for years during high school. So, be yourselves.
And we've just had another cameo bark from the vampire Chihuahua. Tracy was wondering where she was. She was quiet during the whole time we were getting ready, and now she wants to be on the show, which is why we would like her picture on our promo. Thank you very much. Okay, so to start off this evening's festivities, recently I received a surgeon's bag from my ex, who had it in storage for many years. It was my deceased mom's, and over the break, Vanessa and I were chatting very briefly about what to do about redecorating my house because the ghost of my mom wants some new decor. And I have to say that I do have dead flowers, dried flowers from Valentine's Day that I have on display. And Vanessa, that was amazing that you saw that. Because I've been trying to make her an ancestor altar today, and I guess she doesn't like the flowers, so I'll have to get her fresh ones.
Yes.
Cool. So Julia, being the haunted housewife, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to live in a haunted home on a regular basis? Because I think I'm about to become just like you.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Julia Siracusa, and I'm the owner of the Horsefly Chronicles. The Horsefly Chronicles is a location in Easton, PA. My husband wrote a book on the Horsefly Chronicles. It has to do with his life growing up with attachments. And it's not easy living, with attachments following you everywhere you go. So when we moved into the house right now that we're living in 2010, which is called the Horsefly Chronicles, there was a lot of stuff going on before we even moved there. So we have what's on the land, we have what's in the house, and we have the attachments that follow us around everywhere we go.
Did you know there was stuff that was going to be there before you moved there? Did you know it was going to be like that?
That's a great question. I was very drawn to that house. We had a lot of issues getting the house. I think things were trying to stop us from getting the house. Phil gave up because it was just so hard. It was just one obstacle after the next, and Phil had given up, and I said, I'm not giving up. And I ended up getting the house. And I don't know, something drew me to the house. I didn't know what I know now, but yeah, I was very drawn to it.
Did anyone else in the neighborhood know about that house, the history of the house before you moved in?
No, but the people that were sold the house to us were miserable people. Like very, very drained. Like they just were miserable. At the closing, they were miserable. So the energy we were happy. We didn't feel any bad energy walking in there. But now that we think about it, we understand maybe why that they were just so mean and miserable.
Wow. Vanessa just sent me a photograph of what my mom looked like. And Vanessa, I'm floored. I'm so floored. I cry. I know that you and Vanessa work together regularly. Can you tell us a little bit about the Cropsey project that you're working on, Vanessa?
Sure.
Julia, do you want to, and then I'll go into it after?
Sure. Well, I'll just explain how how we started researching this case. When I was raised on Staten Island, New York, and one of my friends disappeared in 1982. Right? It was 82.
81.
And her name was Holly Ann Hughes. And one day, me, my husband, and my friend were sitting in my living room watching The Legend of Crosby just came on. And I said to him, I was like, that's the little girl that I went to school with. So ever since that day, I just started researching. And then I got in touch with Vanessa and I said, will you please investigate and help me work on this case? I really want to find out what happened to my friend. And that's how it came all about. And Vanessa, you can take it from there if you like.
Well, it's funny because, the way that we met, I was pulled into the Horsefly Chronicles case first. And yes. So Julia and Phil and I really got to know each other that way. And when she asked me to do the Cropsey case with her to investigate on Holly Ann Hughes, Holly was abducted. We don't know what happened to her, or at least at that point in time, we really didn't know what happened to her. But it was on July 16th, 1981. And Julia and I worked together on this for a year and a half before we actually got to Staten Island and sink our teeth in, so to speak. And that's kind of how things came into play. And once we got there, it just really snowballed. And we were allowed, we weren't allowed, but we made it onto locations that we were lucky that we made it onto locations that others might not make it onto.
Sure.
We were able to obtain evidence that, we were very, very, very lucky to have, some of which, a very minimal portion, is out there on YouTube for people to see. And one of which wasn't even related to the case, wasn't even related to the Cropsey case. We actually just stumbled upon it. And that was a clip that we obtained when we were at the cemetery in New Jersey in our quest to find Jennifer Schwager, who was one of the children who was kidnapped and murdered on Staten Island and associated with the Cropsey case.
Was she the one with Down syndrome?
She was the one with Down syndrome. She led all of us on a merry little chase in that cemetery. I tell you, Darlin just absolutely loves to play hide and seek.
Yeah, and it took us a long time to realize what she was doing.
Exactly. We were at that cemetery for almost 4 hours in the middle of the night.
Can I ask you something? Did you ever pick up anything on Andre Rand, the guy that killed her, the kidnapper?
Well, okay. Here's the thing: we do have particular bits of information that those of which we will not disclose at this time because they were going into a documentary. So we want people to be able to sit down.
What good are you?
Huh?
Then what good are you if you want to? No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
No, but I knew you were going to do that. So you see how prepared I was. But all of that information is going into a documentary so that those who view it can see everything from A to Z and see why we feel what we've obtained is relevant. And then they can decide for themselves what they believe happened or did not happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want to sour the pool, so to speak. However, Tony, since you did bring up evidence.
I did. That's what I'm here for. The investigative report.
We caught a stunning little piece of evidence in that cemetery on infrared camera that I still am shocked by. And it takes a lot to shock me, Tony. You know that. Everybody here knows that, okay? But it still boggles my mind. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I believe we know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But jury's still out. But I will say it might have something to do with Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got lost in Jersey a bunch of times.
I am in Jersey right now, by the way. New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Are you next to bodies water?
No. Oh, Lordy. It's pretty creepy here. It's pretty creepy here.
No. Jersey always smells like that. It's the factories.
Stars.
So tell us about this thing that happened to you that happened in Jersey.
Well, from what we can gather on the videotape, because we have so much footage, but what I can gather on the videotape is this was shortly after we arrived at the cemetery. So we hadn't even begun to get close to where Jennifer's tomb was, because she's in one of the large things. Was it a mausoleum?
The mausoleum.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know. She was guiding us through the cemetery, and we're looking for a red stone because that's what we found online. But she's playing hide and seek with us, and it took Vanessa figured it out, but it took us hours and hours to understand what was going on and why she was taking us jumping from one stone to the next. But then what happened? Rachel Wagner, who is part of Threefold Paranormal, she actually was looking online and she realized where Jennifer was, and it was all the way in the back where the mausoleum was, and there was hundreds of them.
Absolutely hundreds of them. And here's the thing: had we have been smart and went during the day, we wouldn't have been there near as long. We would have found her fairly quickly, and all would have been right with the world. Correct?
Yeah, it was such spare the moment kind of thing. We just said, "Hey, we're gonna go now," and we just went.
Which means it was meant to be, because had we have went during the day, had we have only been there an hour, because that's about all it would have taken to find her, we wouldn't have come across what we came across. And that is this footage. This footage was caught shortly after us arriving at the cemetery. It's caught on infrared. And what it is, and we have it on Threefold Paranormal's page on Facebook, and we have it on my YouTube channel as well, Vanessa Renee Hogle. And what it is, you can clearly see, there is no question that this is something landing from the sky. It lands on 1 foot, looks like it has wings that drop down to its side, and it runs off in front of the camera.
Wow.
If I had to gauge a size, I would say it is approximately 6 to 7 feet tall with a wingspan of about 6 feet.
And you have And you have a theory about who this is?
I do.
Can we say? Can we say?
I can say.
Well, I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to encourage
Spill it.
Well,
Spill it, V.
Okay. I tried. I looked. Me and my best friend looked over this. Everybody on Facebook looked over this. My son looked over this with me, and I'm like, you know what? I have no freaking idea. And then it popped in my head. I wasn't even looking at it when this popped in my head, and it was the Jersey Devil.
Yay.
We were in Jersey. We were in Jersey at the time. You know, when this footage was caught. And I'm like, well, you know what? Okay, that's one coincidence. Let's see if we have some more. You know, so I pulled up a picture of a sketch of what people have claimed the Jersey Devil looks like. And I'm like, well, some bitch. Put meat on that thing that landed in front of us. That's that. Looks just like it. So then we had Rachel looking for additional information. Come to find out, one of the sightings of the Jersey Devil was within 15 minutes of where we were at.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 15 away from Camden to Philadelphia.
Exactly. So when you have one coincidence, that's one thing. You can brush that off. When you have two, you're starting to sink your teeth in a little bit. When you have three, you're done. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and then you line up why we were there, at the time of night we were there, not even trying to capture this. And it just literally landed in front of us. I really should buy a lottery ticket. You know, because
It was a pretty great capture.
Yeah.
I just have to say though that the Jersey Devil is not the scariest thing that you'll find on the Jersey Turnpike.
Oh, no, I've seen the drivers. Are you kidding me? I've seen the drivers. No, they were driving me to the airport, and somebody actually was driving down the highway and literally went horizontal and went across traffic because they wanted to get to the exit. And
It's
I'm like,
really bad. New
you're
Jersey and New York, it's really, they're terrible.
I've never heard so many honked horns in my entire life, and we were walking, so it wasn't at us. You know? It's like, you people got to be kidding me. Be a little bit. But it was everything lined up, and I think this is what we run into is synchronicity. In order to capture something great, you can't be looking for it, and everything has to line up. And it really is a gift. And I believe that's what we got. We were literally handed a gift.
Everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, I have a little background on the Jersey Devil because I was alerted to this. The Jersey Devil was first reported in 1735. Supposedly, his mother was named Leeds. They were one of the earliest Jersey settlers, and when she had him, she just threw him out. It's like, this is the devil, and cast him into the Pine Barrens, a barren area that is nothing but pine trees. Apparently, I've only been lost there once. Me and some friends got lost coming back from a concert and wound up in the Pine Barrens. Had no experience except being lost. Okay, in 1909, there was dozens of Jersey Devil sightings, all the way, as I said earlier, from Camden to Philadelphia. And then and Napoleon Bonaparte, his brother Joseph claimed to have seen it in 1820. So that's the background. Since then, it's become a Jersey legend, and it was even on the X-Files. The X-Files did an episode on the Jersey Devil.
Wow.
That's really sad, though. That kind of hurts my heart. That's really sad.
It is very sad.
Wow.
And the thing is, people would listen to this and they would think that that's got to be a made-up story. But fact is, if you search throughout history, you'll find many civilizations actually discarded offspring that was considered less than satisfactory.
Yes.
So
Kind of like the legend, kind of like the Willowbrook State School, the Legend of Crosby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whereas before they would dump them out and let them die.
Yeah.
With Crosby, they would dump them in a building and let them wither away.
Yeah.
So how bad was the institution? How bad was the institution when it was running, when it was up?
It was horrific.
Terrible. Very bad.
And
Okay.
in its originality, Tony, it was supposed to hold 4,000 patients. and that was supposed to be adequate for the staff that they had there. It wasn't long, however, before more patients were added, and at its closing, there were 6,000 patients at Willowbrook, which is 2,000 allowed.
Yeah, and hardly any staff.
Yeah, 50 to 1 patient to caretaker.
Now, is this the one that was investigated by Geraldo?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this was a nationwide known nasty place.
Yes.
And it continued to, even after this, it continued to, they stayed in business.
Not for long.
Okay.
Not for
Why
long.
not?
What happened with Geraldo, and this is really interesting, is because the people that worked at Willowbrook, the majority of them were as appalled at the conditions as we would be looking at Geraldo's footage. Okay, it was horrific to them as well. And Geraldo, from my understanding, and please research this if I'm incorrect, actually he was contacted by one of the doctors.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and the doctor said, please just show up here. Here's a key. Walk into this building. And when people look up the footage of the Geraldo expose, what they're seeing is what him and his cameraman saw the moment they came through the doors. But they were brought there by one of the staff, by one of the doctors.
Yes.
It's my understanding. So, and it wasn't just Geraldo that spoke of it. Robert Kennedy toured the ground and said the same thing. And
he's in the 1960s, I think. I'm not sure the exact date, but he walked in, walked out, and said it's a snake pit. He literally called it a snake pit.
Absolutely.
And he did not do anything he was a senator back then. He didn't do anything to close it down, though.
But let's also look at another point, though. Let's look at another point, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. You're talking about 6,000 patients. 6,000 patients, where 98% of them were severely mentally ill and completely unable to take care of themselves. Okay? So if somebody comes down, granted, it should have happened. But if somebody comes in and shuts that place down, where do you put them?
Well, Geraldo did it.
Yeah, but there's repercussions from that as well. And by the time you got to it, the majority of the ones that were there were old enough to go into halfway houses.
That's true.
So, it's getting rid of one problem and borrowing another, because a lot of these families didn't want these children, unfortunately.
Yeah. That'll always stick in my mind of how, the Kennedy didn't do enough. But you're right. That's a really good point.
Do we have any idea what happened to the people that after it was closed down? Do we have any idea what happened to the people that were in it?
Yes.
Well, yes. Some of them actually, didn't have as many disabilities as they were thrown in there for. Yeah, I mean.
So the place made it worse, or the place just wanted to keep them in there?
Well, back in those days, parents would listen to the doctors, and if a child, had autism or something, less severe, they would just throw them in there anyway, because they didn't know what else to do. It wasn't like how it is today. But yeah, it's really sad.
Quite a few of the patients who, were released once it was finally closed down, who were older, ended up staying, loitering around, being vagrants around the ground, because it was all they knew.
Yeah.
Was that location. That was home to them. And you really have to think of their mindset. It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome. It's
almost like being in jail, too. It's like when you're in jail for so many years and then you get out on parole, it's like, what do I do with myself? So they ended up back there for that reason. Yeah.
Can I ask one question? Was Andre Rand, was he an was he someone who was was he a patient and then he went back? Is that why he was hanging out there?
No.
Yeah, he wasn't a patient. He actually had a job there. They hired him as a janitor / doctor's aide because back in those days they really didn't check their backgrounds, and he did have a criminal background of molestation, and it was he was not a good guy, but he got a job there anyway.
Wow. I doubt he was the only one who had.
I agree.
I doubt he was the only one. I would bet you dollars to donuts that a high percentage of those who were employed there, maybe not in higher up positions, but orderlies, janitors.
Oh yeah.
Groundskeepers. I would bet you dollars to donuts that quite a few of them had records as well, and that's something.
You picked that all up when we were there too.
Actually, I picked up on even some of the doctors and the administrative staff.
Actually, I was going to get into. I have one more question. The doctors and the scientists that work there, the staff, the medical and scientific staff, were they performing any experiments on these people? Because they have people, they have a vast amount of people, all suffering from something, and they have something that no one else really has. They have nobody watching them. Were they experimenting to see different treatments that went dark, perhaps?
It isn't that they were investigating different treatments. Here's the thing. You're going to run into with Willowbrook the same thing that you would run into in Virginia at Central State. Okay? You have patients who lack the ability to defend themselves. They lack the legal right to defend themselves. They lack the legal right to say no. So you, as a doctor or as a scientist at these locations, you have a state-given right to experiment on these patients because you're their legal guardian. And if anyone wants to say that's not true, go right ahead. But that's what was happening, whether it was legal or not. And it doesn't mean that they were necessarily experimenting on them to try to find a cure for what they had. They could experiment on them for any reason they wanted. Any reason they wanted. And at Central State in Virginia, there's an entire cemetery that I was drawn to that they wouldn't let me get out of the car. They had to tell me what it was after the fact because I just kept saying all their numbers are right over there. All their numbers are right over there. And you couldn't see it from the road. And Chris pulled me back and wouldn't let me get out of the car because I wanted to haul ass, okay? It was an entire cemetery of patients who had only numbers, and they were experimentation patients.
Wow.
Just they were experimenting on. They were being experimented on before. They were just being experiments.
Oh, it's so horrible.
Now, what did you find with this at Cropsey?
Much the same situation.
Okay. Did you? Are you including anything that you found in your investigations in your documentary, or is there anything that you can talk about? Any specifics of what was being done to the people that they were just messing with, to see what they could learn? I'm saying that politely.
The only thing that I will, and Julia can disclose what she wants to disclose. The only thing that I will disclose that will be in the documentary, but I don't mind disclosing it now, is that preventative pregnancy situations were definitely being done.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a pattern in places like that.
Yes.
They're a specific pattern. Can you get it? Can you give any other details on that? Because as I said, that is a specific pattern in things like institutions that have that same sort of access. Why is that? Why is that such a fascination?
Because
they could. Because they could.
I mean, honestly, think about that. You've got how many women right there that can't say no?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. How many children?
Right to say no.
How many children were at the institution?
6.
Yeah, go ahead, Julia.
It was a 6,000. 6,000.
Yeah.
That was the max?
Right. How many children were there?
Oh, a large percentage of them were children.
Okay. Were they also experimenting on the children?
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually were injecting them from what we know, with hepatitis. Yeah. So it was spreading, and that was spreading. And then what happened? It was spreading around. So they were, and then it was spreading around. Half the children there, were infected with it.
And people will hear this and they'll be like, well, how can you prove that? Again, just like with the Jersey Devil thing of the dumping of the child who was less than normal, this isn't unheard of, people. At the Crescent Inn Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, it previously was and I'm doing the little bunny air quotes, cancer research hospital. And the lunatic that was running it was injecting a fluid into these people, saying he's going to cure their cancer, and I think it was bleach. And when it was a hospital, there were no doors on the rooms because that doctor would come in and out of the rooms, and he wanted people to feel homey. What most people don't realize is upstairs in the bridal suite now, where the bridal suite is in that hotel, is where they kept the people when they were getting ready to die. And they had big, thick steel doors blocking the screens. So when we say that this was happening in Willowbrook, or when we say this was happening at Central State, we're also saying this was happening in other places as well. And people don't think of it because they want to put their loved one in a place and they want to feel good about it so they can walk away and wash their hands of the situation.
This sounds like something you'd see on American Horror Story.
Exactly. Yeah. And it happened at Waverly. We can talk on and on all night on the places that's happened to.
Actually, I'm glad that you can, because as I was saying before, when I noticed there was a pattern, I've also been investigating specifically things like this since Vampire Theater, and I am very interested in the things that you found because you're in a completely different geographic area than where I am. Well, Julia, you grew up in Staten Island, so
yes.
There's quite a few that's been out here, so I don't know anything about where else have you looked? Where else have you looked into this?
From my understanding, similar situations, maybe not to such a degree, happened at Griffin State Hospital here in Oklahoma. So bad that in one of the buildings, which they won't let you in, they had a really bad fire in there, and it was I hate to use this term, but like a mental hospital for boys. This particular area of it was, and they found not too long ago after that fire. This tells you how people are throwaway. Not too long ago, after all that fire had happened, like I don't know how long ago it was, they found on the grounds of Griffin Hospital a mass grave, and I think the body. Now I ask you, if you had a child who was in a mental hospital and they died in a fire, would you not want them buried?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
If I had a child, I would. Yeah.
Exactly. Or would you want them thrown in a big old hole like so much trash?
It's terrible.
Can I ask one more? And I'm sorry to keep this from being so girly as you guys wanted it, but one more hard. Is there, in all of your research and all of the things that tied together, was there any particular government agency, any particular military agency, anything at all that you see prevalent, tying these particularly bad institutions together?
I will not disclose my opinion on that.
Yeah,
okay,
we actually can't. Yeah. Well, especially with the Crosby case, we can't talk about that.
Will that be in the documentary, or is that something that you can't talk about ever? Yes. Okay. That people, if they found what I think they found, then this is a documentary that you have to see, because they have not told me anything up until this moment, and I'm getting this from what I know.
Yeah, no one knows anything.
And if they got what I think they have, this is a documentary that must be seen. This has long and far-reaching repercussions beyond just the one place. And there was a lot of people that were hurt in this. So, Marie, I'm going to give this back over to you because I'm turning this into a downer.
I'm fascinated. I mean, let's face it, kids. The largest audience for murder porn in the United States and throughout the world is female. So we girls like this gritty, scary, mysterious stuff. Actually, we are the market for it. So
I have a theory on that.
No?
Okay. Yes.
No.
I have a theory on that. I really do. And I would love to know 3 other women's and a man's opinion on this. Women are analytical by nature. Okay? We cannot help but analyze damn near every situation that comes across our plate. Men do not function in the same capacity.
No.
So, in order for us to be able to leave you men alone and not analyze every raise of the eyebrow, every curl of the lip, every motion of the hand, in order for us to not literally dissect you on a daily basis, we have to have something that we can tune that portion of our mind into as a problem solver. And that's how we function.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
Totally.
I'm one of the men that is actually like that. I overthink is how
That's
Marie tells me. But no, I analyze everything and I analyze it to death. That's why when I do a story, I have to have every and it's not OCD. It's not OCD. It's just you just got to get it down to the to the deepest points. I do get it because it's so much better than looking at the person who's making you feel crazy and saying, why the fuck did you do? Oh, what did you do? Yeah, I can't. I know. I'll stop now.
Exactly. I could put a hatchet in your head, or I could try to figure out why that other woman did it to him.
Exactly. So, while we have a little bit more time on this half of the show, I'd like to start talking about the Horsefly Chronicles because it is a case that continues to evolve. And I know that it's going to be a featured hotspot for the National Ghost Hunting Day on September 30th. And I'd like to know what you guys think are going to be the highlights of a hunt at the Horsefly Chronicles house.
Oh, well, I think the highlight is definitely going to be, and I know Vanessa would agree, the portal, which is located in my basement.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, can you tell us about the portal? What's so hot about the portal?
Yeah.
God, I don't even know where to start with the. It's just, it's supposed to be Sour's bedroom, Phil's attachment, and there's just a lot of other things in there. There's
Tell
good
us about
spirits,
Sarah
bad.
first.
What
Sour
do you feel like to
is-
stand next? Oh,
No.
It's
Go ahead.
very, it's very heavy. Like the minute you walk in there, you feel heavy in your chest. And for some people, they can stay in there for a while and be okay. Others, not so much. I guess it depends on you. Because
what
they've,
happens to people to stay too long? That when they
Well,
what
they
do they
will
feel
get-
that drives them out?
bad headaches, nauseous. So there's been people in there that actually have been overtaken by entities in that room.
Describe that. What happens?
Their eyes will turn black and they will just completely black out, pass out. Phil has, we've had teams here and there's been a couple of people that actually passed out and, we had to get them out quick. And we always tell everybody, if, go in with you, on your own and if you get sick, come right out and go right outside and do not walk in there with any bad thoughts.
Okay.
At all.
Do you have any footage of the people that passed out or that had blackened eyes?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any footage of the people that blacked out or got the blackened eyes?
I'm not sure. I might. I have to talk to Phil about that.
That's an interesting detail that no one's told me about.
I think that Phil has done a show where that happened to him in there.
I'm going
to show that very clearly. That might be very interesting. I also have to ask, just to make sure that so our listeners know, you've ruled out anything gaseous, you've ruled out molds, you've ruled out anything that could be possible. Okay.
Yes.
So I just wanted them to know, so they're not going to come at you later and go, it's just a bunch of this.
Of course.
A little bit of Ajax, but fix that up.
Oh,
Tony,
we're very, Go ahead, Ray.
Tony, I'm going to send you a screenshot of my face when I was staring into the portal. You'll see the black eyes. Yeah, I watched it happen. And I actually said, it's time for me to go now.
Now, what did you see?
My
what
face.
did you feel?
My face.
Forgot about that.
So it was really, really, really bizarre. It's weird because I took on, in this picture, you'll be able to see it, a very feline quality on my face, and my eyes were completely black. So I'm just searching for the screenshot right now. There's a butt ton of stuff on Horsefly Chronicles billboard. So
good, because the last thing you sent me was a smiley face. So I was like, oh well,
Oh, definitely. If anybody wants to, really see a lot of pictures, a lot of evidence, they can go on the Horsefly Chronicles billboard. There's so much stuff there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh. Yeah, no, this is fascinating. The way that people react to it tells a lot more than some of the things that you can catch, because you're trying to catch something that's in between worlds, and it's tough to catch. But catching the reaction, there we go. I'm going to get a picture. Thank you. Marie, take over while I look at this.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, then what is this? Oh, God.
Is it the Jersey Devil in a bikini?
No.
Oh my stars.
No, it's I'm sorry. It's Julia Siracusa with glasses.
What?
I think that's the picture that came up.
I didn't send that one. That's funny.
No, Tammy
Me
sent
neither.
it. Tammy sent it. She's one of Marie's. She's one of Marie's helpers.
Coordinators.
Coordinators.
Tammy's one of my coordinators.
And I just took.
And Brenda is the other one.
Close.
Thank you, Tammy and Brenda. We're remembering
Yep.
you.
They are on top of everything at all times.
Yes, they are. They are.
Okay, so while you're looking for it, can you tell us what it felt like? What it was that drove you to say that this is too much?
When I saw my face, because I was actually looking in the mirror, and I'm sending it to you right now. Hold on, give me just a second.
I want to see it too.
Okay, I'll send it to the chat.
Okay.
It was just too much. It was just too much. I was actually very comfortable in there starting out because they were talking to me and they were talking fine. They were conversing very well with me. There wasn't an issue. But when Marie said, hey, have Vanessa look into the portal. Thank you, Marie.
You're welcome, honey.
When she said, hey, have Vanessa look into the portal and film it, not only could I see my face changing, everyone in the room could see my face changing, and people on live feed could see my face changing.
Well,
okay, now you look cute here in this one, but it's only a shot. Do you have?
That's a screenshot.
That's the
of
what?
the video. That's a still shot of the video.
Right.
her eyes got completely black, and as I was watching it, because I told her to do it because I knew that's where we would get the most visual activity. Hello, I'm a producer. I know these things, and I'm a psychic too. So I saw them change, and as a producer, for me, that was the money shot. I was like, "We got it!"
Oh yeah, and you couldn't miss it when I was sitting there, and you can ask Julia. I was like, "Yeah, I it's time for me to go outside."
Yeah.
You know? And the room, it's very crowded, and it isn't, like things are climbing the walls, at least for me. But what it was is, even though there's a bed note, even though there's a dresser and a table, and there were 4 of us in there, there was 100 of us in there. Yeah. And the bed and the dresser and the table made no difference. It's as if those pieces of furniture weren't there, because all these beings that were in there were standing, and it was standing room only. And it just became very hot and very overwhelming. I never felt in danger until I did the mirror thing.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I knew that I have to get out of there because they're seeing too far into me.
Yes.
And here is where we have to make the audience go crazy to build up the suspense for the next period. We're about to go to commercials. So first of all, Vanessa, where can people find you? And don't be shy. You do a lot of stuff.
Shit. I'm on Twitter under Vanessa Hogle. I am on Instagram under Vanessa Renee Hogle. I am on Facebook under Vanessa Renee Hogle. You can find my books on Amazon and on Haunted Road Media. I have a YouTube show every Tuesday night at 8:30 Central Standard Time called Edge of the Rabbit Hole on YouTube. And Google. Honestly, just make it easy on yourself. Just Google me. Just Google me. Okay?
But tell us what I find Rabbit Holes. That's on YouTube, and you can. That's a separate search, just in case it doesn't come up right away. Julia, where can we find you, and where can we find the Horsefly Chronicles?
You can find me on Julia Siracusa on Facebook, also on Instagram, Julia Siracusa, and you can find, I have a blog, The Girl of Darkness, on Facebook. You can find that, and that's it.
No, there's the Horsefly Chronicles.
The Horsefly Chronicles. We have a page, the Horsefly Chronicles Billboard. And also another page, the Horsefly Chronicles Case Files. You can also, if you really want to understand the Horsefly Chronicles, you can get the book off Amazon. For my husband wrote the book, Philip Siracusa. It's called the Horsefly Chronicles, and I guess that's it. Yeah.
No, there's a website, therealhorseflychronicles.com.
And yes, that's the new website that we just got up.
Yes, it's brand new. It's gorgeous. Go
Beautiful.
check it out. National Ghost Hunting Day on September 30th.
Oi.
Good job, Mary.
Thank you.
Where can we find you when you're not here?
You can find me luxuriating in Hollywood. Otherwise, you can go to www.mariebargas.com. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Marie Bargas. And where can we find you?
Well, after what happened today and my kids all there, no one's going to find me for a while.
I should have said that.
I'm going to be out. You can Google me. I write for Den of Geek. I am the TV editor of Entertainment Voice, and I'm all over Entertainment Tomorrow and wherever you find me. Just Google. Same thing. Just type in 24 hours, any 24-hour period, I'll have done something. Okay, this has been Magic Lab, and we're going to continue with the suspense when we get back. We broke off with Vanessa's story. Tracy, take us out of here. Thank you, everyone else, for listening.
Marie and Tony will be right back as we take a break for messages from our sponsors.
Spiritualistonline.com. Online since 2002, teaching all aspects of personal and spiritual development. Free to all with audio-video chat rooms, members forums, and SOC radio live shows on site. The Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, a global oasis for spiritual awareness, development, attainment, imparting knowledge, thoughts, ideas to inspire. One site, linking a whole network of spiritually informative, educational and interactive services, encompassing every faith, path, walk, religion as one. Astrology Chat with Chrissy Lincoln, Psychological Body and Spirit. Monthly chat show, last Tuesday of the month, 1 to 3 p.m. New Zealand time. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. The Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panelists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring spirit's work into the light of day, and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30 second jingles, adverts or promotions. All going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spirit Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time. featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. The Circle of Mediums radio show. 6 mediums, healers, psychics, tarot, astrologers, spiritual workers every week, sharing spirit messages, development techniques, guidance and much more. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com. Search SOC Radio. Would you like to contribute readings, thoughts, teachings and time to this 2-hour show? Get in touch at socradioshows@gmail.com. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our 3 vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Premium membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our Teaching Lyceum, classes and courses to certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members-only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Join us on SOC Radio. Host your own online radio show. We welcome inquiries and ideas for your own show live right here on SOC Radio. Share your knowledge, thoughts and abilities. Bring your ideas to life here with us on SOC Radio and spiritualistonline.com. Or join any of our shows as a special guest, speaker or presenter. Check out the liveliest spiritual chat show, the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum, a monthly discussion show, or the Circle of Mediums, a weekly show sharing spirit messages and teaching all aspects of mediumship and psychic abilities. Or join our Christina on the monthly astrology show. Contact us now at socradioshows@gmail.com or facebook.com/SOC Radio. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spirit Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time, featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panelists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring Spirit's work into the light of day, and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. Advertise with Sock Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on Sock Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at sockradioshows@gmail.com. Premium membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses to certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on sock services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Sock Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, Sock Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to Sock Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the Sock Radio chat room on the website. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. The Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panelists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring Spirit's work into the light of day, and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. Premium membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses for certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on sock services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com.
Welcome back to the lab as Marie and Tony teach you all about magic.
Your life.
Hello and welcome back to Magic Lab Academy, an institute of lower learning and high perceptions. I'm the infidel Tony Sokol. Meet on this lab for the Hollywood witch who runs this laboratory, Marie Bargas.
Hi, baby.
And-
Yum, yum, yum. Munch, munch, munch. So, as I said recently, my mom's surgical bag was delivered to me from my ex who got it out of storage. My mom's been deceased for quite some time, but she was a medical doctor, and her surgeon's bag has a lot of energy attached to it. And as I was discussing with Julia, for the first time in a long time, my mom has come to visit. So earlier I was asking Julia, specifically, when you have spirits in your home on a regular basis, and I think, and I hope that Mom will stay for a while, what exactly do you do to make them feel comfortable?
Cards. You play cards. I also grew up in a haunted house, and we played cards. We let them kibitz. We let them raise.
We feed them meat and beer.
Yes, and pretzels.
No, actually, feeding
peanuts.
your spirits
Cigarette.
is a traditional way of keeping them happy. In many traditions, including the voodoo tradition, where entire meals are laid out for spirits. Why do you give a particular spirit beer? Tell me about that guy, because he's been on film. He's been on film several times.
I guess just to help make me feel better. I was actually very sick for a while, and then, you told me to feed them to make me feel better, and it worked. It really did. It worked.
It was Anubis.
It was Anubis.
Mm-hmm, recently, they were at Dorney Park, and a photograph was captured. Me and my son Chris were on the Ferris wheel, and Phil texted me and said, take a picture. So I took a picture, and right behind my son was Anubis. It was real. I had the picture. Yeah. He's gotten comfortable with the family now, so he goes out with them.
Yes, he comes along with us. He's probably here now.
I think he is. I think we even have film of him wiggling his ears for you. Yes, we do. We do have that. Yeah. Yeah, Anubis is the guardian of the gates of hell, or at least in the Egyptian tradition he is. And at the time, I felt that Julia needed a guardian or somebody to help her manage. And she, so far, has struck up a very good relationship with Anubis.
This is true. And I feed him beer. I feed him beer daily, and he looks out for me.
Yeah. Are you still wearing your ankh?
I am.
And have you felt sick since you've been wearing it?
I have not been sick. Yeah. I haven't been. Knock on wood. I've been really, really good.
But
thanks to you, Marie.
The Egyptians aren't the only spirits in your house, correct?
No.
So tell us about some of the other spirits.
Do you want to talk about them?
Well, I like the fact that Phil recently purchased a set of surveillance cameras, and if you go to the Horsefly Chronicle billboards and look at some of the film that they've posted, just of time-lapse photography, you will see something that kind of looks like something from Easter Island on their sofa.
Yes. Oh, that was a good capture.
Yeah, it was an excellent capture. Is he still there, or was he just there for the weekend?
I don't know. That was just a one-time thing. I've never seen that before in my life.
Now, Vanessa and I have discussed the fact that the house is close to a ley line. And I remember Vanessa explaining to me that she felt that there was something under the house that was powering it. You want to talk about that, Vanessa?
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. Because when we first got there, I made a beeline not into the house, but across their backyard. And I was pointing out to Julia and to Phil the line in which it runs and how it gets to the basement. And I stand by that because you could feel the vibration from it.
Yeah. When I did my preliminary research, I found that there is a line, either the house is close to or maybe even on, that is the heart chakra line, and it goes directly all the way across the ocean to Stonehenge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's that ley line. It's the main one, or one of the main ones. It's one of the main ones, yeah. The other thing that happened in research recently that I want Tracy to talk about, because they actually appeared last week, are the Iroquois. Your house, Julia, is on the site of where the Treaty of Easton was signed by the British and 3 tribes, the Iroquois, the Lenape, and the Shawnee. And as you know, they were betrayed.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So I have to say, and Tracy will agree, that I was told by the Iroquois that in their ceremonies, burning tobacco would appease the spirits. And Tracy and I burned tobacco last week. And we actually we actually got everything to work. Can you tell me about the Indians that you saw? Because I never even told you about it. And Tracy was like, Marie, they're Indian. Yes. Around you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told by a lot of people, including you, that we are on a ley line, and you know, there's a lot of Indian. The whole town is on Indian land, and I think that it's affecting the whole neighborhood now because we have a lot of neighbors that are moving because there's just so much negativity in the whole neighborhood. So we have what's on the land, the Indians, and we have what's in the house, and it's a daily battle between them. And then we have my family who's living in the house in the middle of that battle constantly every day. It's very draining.
What's funny about that, Julia, is I did not know any of that, but you can ask Phil when he was driving, when your son was driving us into your neighborhood, to your section of the neighborhood. Yes. I got what I know now to be within 3 blocks of your house, and I said, ooh, the energy changed. Yeah. This is good. And I started pointing out houses, and I said, there's domestic violence there. There's lots of arguing.
I remember you said that.
Yeah. And he was like, how did you know that?
It's so crazy how everyone is moving.
Yeah.
You know, out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. One house, another house. It's just, it's crazy.
I'm not surprised one little bit.
Well, as Vanessa mentioned earlier, the thing that we all agree on is that these things, these entities, are highly intelligent. And so while some of them may be authentic, Indians, Egyptians, whatever, there are shapeshifters in there that can change according to your thoughts to make you see whatever it is you are thinking of, which is why you have to be careful about what you think inside the portal.
Yeah. And it's happened in my house quite a few times. It happened to me and happened to my son. They took a picture, and I was in the bathroom. I was brushing my hair, and it wasn't me. It looked like me, but it wasn't me. So, and then another time we took a picture of my son, and the same thing. It took the form of him, but we knew it wasn't him. His face was different. It didn't look like him. So that was very scary.
Can people expect to see that or experience that when they come to the Horsefly Chronicles house?
It could happen. I mean, definitely. It definitely can happen.
So when I come there eventually, and I'm looking forward to it, will there be another Marie in the kitchen eating pizza?
It's quite possible.
Quite possible.
It's quite possible. Definitely.
So
you just never know. You never know what's going to happen in that house.
What types of phenomenon have people experienced inside the house?
Just getting very sick, getting very dizzy, being touched, hair being pulled, their legs being pulled, constantly seeing shadows all over the home, orbs everywhere in different colors. Constant orbs. A few weeks ago, my son went up to the attic because we had a little leak, and we were trying to figure out where it was coming from because we have a walk-around attic. And he went up there, to look around, and he couldn't find anything except what was flying around right in his face. So we actually have a video of him, And he's even saying in the video that there's orbs everywhere. He actually could see them all over, hundreds. And, you know, the attic is actually in my bedroom, in my closet. So we've never really investigated in there. We're going to try to do a live stream up there and see what we can capture. But it's one of those places in the house that is believed to be a portal, but we've never really investigated that area yet.
So how do you investigate?
Wait. Vanessa, you've talked extensively about the portals in the house. Can you explain to our audience where they are and how they function?
One is in the basement, in the corner bedroom, and it's accessible, in my opinion, through the mirror that's in there. Now, that doesn't mean that if you took the mirror out, it wouldn't be there, but that seems to be the easiest way to access it. The other one is in the attic, where Julia was talking about, because when she sent me some video of it, I'm like, would you please not go to this one particular corner? Because, damn, okay, we don't, let's not do that right now, okay, because there's enough going on in the basement. It gave me, I actually got more of an uncomfortable feeling from the attic one than I did the basement.
Yeah, said that.
And the thing is, and I want to touch on something just super quick on what you guys were just talking about, you know, be careful of your thoughts when you go into the downstairs basement, okay? When you go into that bedroom, into the portal room, I can't stress enough the importance of that statement, okay? If anyone thinks that they can go in there and trick what's in there, or try to fool it in any way, or manipulate
negative, yeah,
in any way, they've got another thing coming.
Yeah.
All right? You have to be very, very, very careful of the energy you bring into that room, because
and you have to be very respectful. That's like one of the biggest. Walk in there with the utmost respect. Not, you know,
I was staying as long as I was.
Yes, I agree.
With the utmost respect for what was in there, because if you don't, what you're feeling and what you're thinking and the energy that you bring in there will be turned on you.
Exactly. So true.
It's like karma.
And it's happened to so many people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't stress it enough.
Go ahead, Tony. You had a question?
You passed the point, but this is interesting. So, what have people brought in, and what has happened to them?
I'm sorry. Say that again. What have they brought in?
What could someone bring in, and that would turn on them? What have you seen that's happened with that? What repercussions has it brought on the person who brought it in? What have you seen?
Well, certain things that they can't wear will aggravate the spirits, and also Phil actually gets sick of certain crosses, things like that. You cannot bring in the portal.
Okay. So what happens if you do? What do the people experience?
They'll get sick right away. Right away, and they could also, you know, what's here can also follow them home. So you have to be really, really careful, and you know, there's always rules. There's rules in every location that you go into.
Can I jump in here real quick, Julia?
Sure.
Okay, Tony, I think the best way to explain this is when you're talking about this particular room, okay, it's not like another haunted location you can go to. This isn't a haunting we're dealing with. This is something that supersedes a haunting. So you can't go in with the attitude of, you must perform for me. You cannot do that. You can't go in there and say, I want you to throw something off this table. I want you to prove to me you're here. You cannot do that, because it will prove to you. It might not prove to you right then and there. It might prove it to you on your way home. It might prove to you in many, many, many other ways that you're not going to be real happy about. So you can't treat this particular area like your standard haunting. What is in this home and what is at this site is no haunting should be treated like a circus animal. But if you were going in there with that idea that they were going to do things on your request or on your demand, no, sir. You go in there with respect. You go in there speaking, not demanding, asking, not demanding, and being as generous and as kind as you can be.
Yes, exactly.
So what if you just go in there like laid back and high and just say, "Hey, what's up?"
Might be okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So there you go.
That'd be
There
fine.
you
You also have to understand, like, these entities in the house, they play on your weakest link. So, if you walk in there and you're an alcoholic, or you're, I hate to say it, but if you're you're a drug addict, or any kind of things that may be going on in your life, it could affect you even more. They like to play on that. So you have to be really, really careful about that too.
So you don't suggest going in there on mushrooms?
No.
I wouldn't. But I have to be honest with you. I tried those years ago, and they don't do a damn thing for me. My brain's all open.
Let's do it together and see if they do it this time.
I ate a whole one. Nothing.
I can say the same.
Yeah.
Play nice.
But but it's true. It's true. I mean, I think substances don't have an effect on me except for alcohol. They just don't they don't have an effect on me. But Fireball does. Julia knows that.
That's why I'm laughing.
It literally took a shot and a half, y'all, at the Applebee's. True story. And I'm feeling like a 2-year-old. But no, the thing is, like, when I went in there, I'm very comfortable and confident in the soundness of my own soul. I don't have any issues. I don't have any hidden demons. I couldn't be more public about my faults or my flaws than I already am. So I had nothing to hide when I went in there. And I think that aided in my ability to converse with him in the way that I did. You can go in there, and what I have found watching some of these shows and seeing how people carry themselves on investigations is they want to burst in all Billy Badass. And the thing is most of those people who do that are the ones that are the most afraid. And if you go into that room with fear, you've already lost.
Yeah. I would go in with anticipation, I'm sure. I would just be really thrilled to meet whoever's in there, or whatever's in there, even better.
And that would work very well. But if you go in feeling superior,
well, that's impossible for me. I'm not superior to anything.
Oh, it happens.
It does happen. So it's just something to be mindful of.
What is the scariest thing that's ever happened at the house?
Honestly, I would say the shapeshifter for me, for seeing something that looks like you but it's not you, was pretty scary. I don't know if it was the scariest, but that was definitely up there. I would say just laying in bed and knowing something's next to you when the bed's jumping up and down.
Wow.
It doesn't sound scary, but it for me, it's scary and happens quite a lot.
So the bed moves?
Well, you feel like someone's sitting, like, when someone would sit on it, you feel that weight of someone, like someone sitting on the bed. Yeah, that happens a lot. My son has been my 7-year-old sleeps with me and my husband every night because he refuses to sleep in his room. And he actually got slapped in his face in his sleep. Woke up that was probably the worst. It scared me the most. Because now it's messing with my kid.
Physical contact is very rare.
Yes, that's very, very rare. And I think I talked to Vanessa about this once. I think.
Actually, one of the things that frightened me the most and it was a picture from your bedroom, and you'll remember this as soon as I mention it. Julia was laying in bed, and
Little
felt
boy.
felt the need to take a picture because she felt something next to her, and it was an infant.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was an infant laying on me. Yeah.
Oh.
It was actually laying on my shoulder. Yeah.
Mhm. That was bizarre to me because that's like, why? Why?
Well, I've been told I have a lot of children around me.
Mhm.
You know, I'm like a lighthouse, I guess, and no matter where I go, they flock to me. But I also have children that are attached to me, from what I've been told, and I can feel them around me as well. And that's probably one of the little. And I take pictures. One picture I have a little boy. There's a little boy that's around me as well in my house and probably wherever I go.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So when people go to your house, can they expect to maybe have a picture of something in their pictures that they didn't recognize when it was actually happening?
Oh yeah. They'll definitely be. You take a lot of pictures and then you don't really see what's in them until later on, and then you're just mind boggled of what you see in almost every picture.
And this happens all the time.
It happens all the time. And I'll take pictures, and then a couple days later, I'll look at that picture and I'll say, "Wow, I didn't notice this before." You have to really analyze them because there's things in almost all of our pictures that we take.
And all people have to do is go into the Horsefly Chronicles billboard, and they can go through the photos and see a lot of this.
Yeah.
They'll see what we're talking about, and it's mind-boggling. There's always something. And the freaky part about it is, it isn't always the same.
No, it's always different.
That is really hard to comprehend. That there is it's not that there's a lot of activity. There's so many different players.
Yes, there's so many different things. That's the strange. Yeah. That's the weirdest part. Like you said before, it's not a haunting, like one haunting of one certain thing. There's so many things here. So many things.
Now, I'm looking here at a note from one of our coordinators, Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Interestingly enough, one of the most popular pictures is of what appears to be a goat. It's got the face of the man, horns, and what seems to be a body, but you can't really make it out. When I spoke to the Seneca Nation, I spoke to one of the curators at their museum. They actually have a legend of a horned serpent.
Wow.
And that, not only that, but in one of the photos that I sent to him, there is a face on the side of the house, and they actually have a legend called the Flying Head. So a lot of this relates directly to their mythology, which I wasn't aware of until I researched it the day before, and then I found the pictures. It couldn't have come together more perfectly. I was so shocked and amazed.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that house. It's in every day I learn something new. It's like it's a learning. I learn something new every day. Talking to different people and researching.
I'd like to go back to something that you were talking about before because the audience only got a little teaser of it. Aside from the photos that were that had changed, you said that you looked and you saw things that were different. That your face was not the same. There's photographic evidence I've seen of it. What was it like actually when it was happening?
I don't know because I don't remember. Like this is all in pictures.
Okay, so you didn't didn't see it in the person next to you. It wasn't happening throughout. Nobody else saw it on you while it was happening?
No, we saw it in pictures. Okay. We captured them in pictures. Yeah.
Okay, I have seen the pictures and they do look interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm remembering one picture that was taken while Vanessa was in the portal. And in this particular picture, in the corner, you could see it was like a triangle cutout of a face that was looking at you while you were looking in the mirror. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was really shocking to me. At first I thought, that's Phil. But then I blew it up and it was like, not Phil. It was not Phil.
And it was moving. You're talking about that creature that above Phil's reflection that was actually moving back and forth.
Yes.
We've never seen anything like that. That was the first.
I have
actually watching it move. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I have to bring this up because it was brought to my attention, and I was so happy it was, because it gave me a chance to re-look at the video and really dissect it and take it apart. And somebody asked, they said, well, are you sure that wasn't, part of your sleeve or your arm or anything? Because the sleeve of my shirt did have like white armbands on it, because it was during the pendulum session. And they said, are you certain that wasn't part of your arm and that's why it was moving? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to say it wasn't. I'm going to go and look back and really dissect it. And this is what people realize when they're looking at that video is Phil is taking the video of me. You can see Phil in the mirror as he's taking the video. I'm doing the pendulum session in front of him. So as he's taking this video, if that was in any way, shape, form, or fashion part of my arm or sleeve, you would see the pendulum moving.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was actually fingers on the other side, like on the wood. Do you remember the fingers? You saw it moving, you saw the fingers. It was incredible. That was definitely not your sleeve.
No, not at all. But I was very thankful that they asked that question, because it gave me a chance to look at it with different eyes.
Exactly.
And to come up with the same answer. I was like, nope. I mean, because if it had been, I'd have said, y'all, that was me. I've been able to debunk it. But there was no way to debunk it, because you would have been able to see my pendulum.
Yeah.
I mean, my pendulum doesn't disappear in front of his face, but my arms show up. So I was very thankful for that. So anyone who goes onto the website and sees that, they'll at least know that we have already tried to debunk that.
Yeah, I agree.
We're closing out soon. So before we go, I'd like to know a little bit more about. I'd like to know a little bit about Threefold Paranormal.
Okay. Well, Threefold Paranormal is when I started researching the Legend of Crosby, I had a vision in my head about like creating a team, because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. Creating a team, I needed the right girls, and girls I could trust. And it's really hard these days to trust anyone. I always have my guard up. And Vanessa was my first pick. I waited 1.5 years for her, like she said before. 1.5 years for her to be able, because she's very busy, to come down here and dive right into this. And I created this team for the Legend of Crosby to find answers and to do what we did. And I think we did a great job. And I couldn't have done it without Vanessa and Rachel. I could never have done it without them.
Well, and Rachel's absolutely amazing. We need to give her props real quick. Rachel Wagner.
Yeah. Yes.
I would investigate anywhere, anytime, any day with Julia or Rachel. No questions asked. You can't get more professional. You can't get more caring. Julia is the heart of the group. I'm the asshole. Rachel's the tech now.
No, you're not.
And it worked really, really well.
We worked really good we did. And it's hard to find. It's hard to find girls that you don't know, that you've never been around, just come together and just, be as close as we are and get along as great as we do.
Absolutely.
And work great as a team. Yeah.
So what does Rachel Wagner actually bring to it? What is her specialty? What is she?
She's an amazing empath. Yeah, she's an amazing empath, and she just picks things up very fast.
And I tell you what, she caught some footage. I've finally gotten all of the footage together, and she when she sent me her stuff, She is a camera taking fool. I tell you, she takes pictures everywhere, and she's smart about it because she'll take a sequence. So you have a before and an after that you can compare things to. And it makes my job of going through everything and finding evidence 10 times easier because she was that thoughtful. She was that thoughtful in the process. And I honestly can't wait. I mean, we're all so busy, but I tell you what, next chance we get, we're hitting another location.
Oh, that's great. So we're about to close out. So once again, I'd like to know, Vanessa, where can we find you online? Where can people get in touch with you?
On Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or my YouTube channel. Everything is under my name. Everything's under my name. So honestly,
that's Vanessa Hogle.
Vanessa Hogle. If you go onto Facebook, that's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me.
Okay, and Julia.
Yes, the same with me. I mean, Facebook, just type in my name, and Instagram, Julia Siracusa. You can also, if you want to read up on Threefold, we have a page, Threefold Paranormal. You can follow up. It's actually 3, the number 3. Now. Yeah, we changed it. I know, Threefold Paranormal. And you can keep up with everything that, where we're doing. And you could also, the Horsefly Chronicles billboard and the Horsefly Chronicles case files. And we have a website, the Horsefly Chronicles. You can Google.
And Marie, and it's also on Amazon. You can buy the book on Amazon. And
yes,
Marie,
you can also buy the book on Amazon.
You can find me at www.mariebargas.com or look for Marie Bargas on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, hey, Tony, tell them they can get my books on Amazon, too.
Hey, you can get her books on Amazon, too. Hey, Vanessa's books, they're up there.
Yeah, and my 3rd book comes out September 26th.
Yay!
And the title of that?
Woohoo! The title of that is Walking with Ghosts, and that is my investigative experiences in Virginia, England, and Scotland.
Oh, she travels.
I do. I'll be in Ireland next March.
Awesome.
Yep, book 4.
So lucky.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. And Marie, you can take us out.
Huh? No.
You sound like me now.
Why don't you do that, Tony? I've got a vampire chihuahua gnawing on my ankle.
Okay. We're here at Magick. This is Magic Lab Academy, and we're on SOC Radio. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in and everyone who's turned on. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us at Magic Lab. See you next time for more conjurings.
Spiritualistsonline.com. Online since 2002. Teaching all aspects of personal and spiritual development. Free to all with audio video chat rooms, members forums, and Sokol radio live shows on site. The Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum, a global oasis for spiritual awareness, development, attainment, imparting knowledge, thoughts, ideas to inspire. One site, linking a whole network of spiritually informative, educational and interactive services, encompassing every faith, path, walk, religion as one.